The Edmonton Oilers have needed much needed help on the fourth and third lines for scoring, and they got that help against the Washington Capitals with Connor Brown collecting his first goal of the season. But before we get into today's video, about 97.9% of you aren't subscribed to the channel, so if you want to stay up to date with Oilers news, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Now, Connor Brown, he's struggled throughout the year, but he finally scored his first goal of the season, and that came off his toe, basically bouncing into the net, and you can't ask for anything more than that from a player that hasn't found the back of the net. Now, the teammates, they noticed it. The celebrations on the bench were elation. They knew he needed that goal, especially heading into the playoffs, and the Oilers could really use a boost on that third and fourth line. Looking at some of the, speaking out after the game, Zach Hyman saying it was pretty special for him to get that goal. The building was loud, and one of the louder times I've seen the building. Honestly, I think everyone was really happy for him, and Oiler fans are really happy for him as well. It's not easy coming into a new team, coming off injury, and there are so many looks that should have gone in for him. Hockey's a funny game with bounces that look bounces and things like that. It just took something like that for him to get one, and I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more from him. Now, Connor Brown, he's been playing great. It's not like he's been playing terrible. He's been a great penalty killer for the team. He's been working hard, and at the end of the day, you can't go a full season without scoring a goal. Tobias Reeder was the last Oiler to do that, playing with that amount of games, and let's be honest, it's a fluke. It's something that doesn't happen very often. If you look at Connor Brown's numbers throughout his career, he's been not consistent, but he's scored goals in the NHL. He's been a 20 goal scorer twice, and he's been on pace for 30 goals in the 2020-2021 season with the Ottawa Senators. So it's not like he can't score goals. He's a guy that can put the puck in the net, and he was just snake-bitten. Now that the monkey's off his back, players like Leon Draisaitl, they're saying it hasn't been an easy couple of years for him, and I actually think he's been playing some amazing hockey, like I said earlier. Sometimes, unfortunately, it just gets harder and harder as times go on, right? So everyone's very happy to see him score, and wouldn't be surprised that the floodgates open up for him. And on that note, the floodgates potentially could open up for him, because it looks like Kris Knoblauch is going to try and tap into the player's previous scoring touch, with this week's most recent lines. So heading into their next game, from Tony Breyer from Oilers TV, these were the lines today at Oilers practice, and as you can see there, Connor Brown moving up to the third line with Adam Henrique and Evander Kane. Now, is he looking to maybe get the floodgates open up? Yeah, I could see it. Ryan McLeod, he couldn't score a goal at the beginning of the season. He scored an empty netter. All of a sudden, the floodgates opened, and he had, I think it was 5 goals in a quick span there. I think it was within a month. And now, Connor Brown, yeah, it's been tough for him. You saw the reaction from Oilers fans. They were so happy for this player that's been working hard and trying to get something going. He's been working hard. He's been killing penalties. He's been grinding it out. And at the end of the day, he finally got rewarded. And maybe it's not too late. Maybe leading into the playoffs, he can get to 5 goals. I think 10's a little much, considering the way the season's gone. But moving up to the third line, playing with Adam Henrique and Evander Kane, those are, players that can put up points. And Connor Brown has an opportunity here to do something really special. And looking at with Connor Brown on that third line, it moves Corey Perry onto the fourth line with Sam Carrick and Janmark, which that's I don't mind that line either. And that's moving Ryan into the press box. So the Oilers are in a good spot here. Moving Brown up wouldn't be that bad of a situation, especially with the games coming up here. They got some easy matchups leading into the playoffs here. Their schedule is pretty favorable for the Oilers to pick up some wins, and it also gives them a chance to basically get their toes in the water, like Connor Brown, with the new players that they've added to the team. Now, moving on to another topic is Jack Campbell. He has been lights out in the AHL since going down. He had a short spell there in the AHL before, or just right after the Oilers sent him there. But recently, if you look at his numbers, he has been fantastic. 15 wins, 8 losses, a 248 goals against average, and a 926 save percentage with 2 shutouts. That's since November 21st. Those are good numbers. It doesn't matter if you're in the AHL. Those are good numbers. And it's something of a player that basically he's had a lot of struggles and over the last couple of years. But if you look at his numbers throughout his career, these are his stats since going to the AHL and the NHL. His save percentage right now is a .917. That .917 in the AHL with Bakersfield, that is one of the highest he's had in the AHL since 2013-14 when he was with the Texas Stars. Highlighted on the graphic in front of you are his AHL stats. Now, if you look in 40 games with the Texas Stars, his first time playing in the AHL, he had a .905 save percentage and a .265 goals against average. But if you look at the remainder of his games, in 16 games he had a .942, 35 games he had a .907, so he was above .900. But if you look at the remainder leading into his NHL career, essentially, because he never really played in the NHL until he got to LA, which really basically skyrocketed his career. He had a .914 save percentage and a .252 goals against average in 52 games with the Ontario Reign. That was when he was with the LA Kings organization. That's when he finally got his foot in the door in the NHL. Now, his stats this year, or his stats recently over the last couple of years, haven't been the greatest. He's been okay, but they've been in the NHL. They've been with Toronto. They've been with LA. And in that time, he's put up a .915, .921, .914, and .888 last season with the Oilers, which isn't the greatest, but he had a .961 save percentage in the playoffs. A .961 and basically a goal against average. Yeah, he appeared in 4 games, but he only started 1 on record. But he's 15-11 this season in the AHL. He has 2 shutouts, .917 save percentage, a .270 goals against average. It opens up the doors for the Oilers to do something with Jack Campbell's contract. They could potentially buy him out. They could potentially trade him. It's not like his stock was ever going to get worse than what it was. It's actually gotten quite a bit better. And I think if the Oilers get into the playoffs, if he continues playing the way he's played, they could use him. If Calvin Pickard, I think he has a .915 save percentage right now, or a .916 save percentage, which has been really good as well. You don't want to take anything from Calvin Pickard, but you're talking about a guy that has major experience in the playoffs. We're not talking about a regular season game. We're talking about playoffs. I know a lot of people love that analogy. It's hilarious. But it's a guy that's played in the playoffs. He's been consistent in the playoffs. And he's basically has the expertise to do something. But basically, him playing like this, putting up those numbers, it opens the Oilers to an opportunity to maybe move his contract. Maybe only retaining about $1 million and moving him to a team that's looking for a starter. Or somebody, maybe a 1B. The Oilers, they don't need a 1B right now, especially with the way Calvin Pickard is playing. And Olivier Rodrigue in the AHL as well has been putting up phenomenal numbers. The Oilers have so much depth at the goalie position that they could essentially buy out Campbell, and I prefer not to, but they could basically move on from Campbell's contract any means necessary in the offseason to open up some space for Leon Draisaitl. Leon Draisaitl's contract ends at the end of the year next year. At the end of next season, his contract's up. The season after that, McDavid's contract's up. Those guys, I don't think they're taking pay. I don't think they're going to take pay cuts. I really don't. Crosby's the only player really at the skill level of Connor McDavid that has stated an 8.7 cap hit. You're not going to get him at a reasonable salary. He's going to want a pay increase. Leon Draisaitl is going to want a pay increase. It's the way the world works. And that $5 million from Jack Campbell could go a long way on the Oilers salary cap.